a sport weight yarn. This opened up again. Girl, stop. Hi everyone, welcome to Beste and Its podcast, episode number 2. But you might be asking, girl, where is episode 1? Well, I have unlisted that video, but I will link it down the description if you want to check it out. So I unlisted it due to my horrible editing. So what happened was I cut out parts of the video as I went. I also added photos on top of the video as I went. So let's say I added a picture here and then cut out a place here, so the picture moves to earlier place in the video. So the pictures would appear before I even talked about it. Like the random pictures appearing on the screen at like not the right time. So I just felt really weird, and yeah, I mean it's a decent episode. I look really nervous in that video and I'm trying to be more relaxed in this one, but yeah, I just didn't feel comfortable with it being up. But you can go watch it if you want. And that besides, today I have 2 finished objects to share with you and 3 works in progresses and 1 swatched / planned / I restarted that multiple times, didn't work out. Now I'm trying to like see where I want to go with it. We'll get into all of that, so let's start. So let's start with my first finished object, which you are seeing on me, the square neck camisole by Garnock Slicked. I have talked a lot about this project in my other video, but let's touch up on it a little bit since I finished it, wear it, experienced it. The first thing I want to talk about is the yarn. So the yarn was from an Instagram shop. They sell cones in Turkey. That's a really popular thing. This one was a 60% recycled linen and 40% cotton. I have to say this yarn is really cool to the touch. I think that's with all types of linen blends. Linen is just super cool to the touch. This doesn't make me sweat, surprisingly, because I have worn this in 37 degrees Celsius weather. I mean, I did sweat, but like I sweat the same amount I would if I was wearing a thin cotton t-shirt, you know what I mean? It doesn't cause any excess sweating for me, which is really good, really wearable. And the fact that it's such an open neckline, I think makes it comfortable, because you know, like nothing's touching your neck, you're not uncomfortable, it's not making you sweat more than a t-shirt would. And so that's that on yarn. Very nice. I love the end product. So the pattern was nicely written in my opinion. It's been a long time, so I don't remember all of the details. It's been 3 months since I started this. I think it was on hold for a month because I was test knitting a sweater. So basically what you do is you knit the straps, you knit the back first till the underarm, you do increases under the arm, you do the back, pick up stitches, and you knit the front again till underarm, you do increases, and then you join in the round and knit the body and do some waist shaping with decreases, and you bind off with a stretchy bind off. That's all. It's a really simple pattern. I think it's a quick project as well. One thing I want to know is that I knitted this off gauge. My gauge was around 27 stitches when it's supposed to be 30. This is because my yarn was thicker. That just opened. Oops. Okay, where was I? I was talking about the gauge. My gauge was off by 3 stitches. So I blindly decided to size down to medium. Didn't do any math, which was a bad idea. So this is really form-fitting on me. It is a struggle to take off because, you know, I try to put my arm in and then take it off, and my arm won't fit in there because it's literally the size of my body. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't put anything else in there. So I should have knitted the size large. I think that would have been better. I would be able to take it off like a human being, but right now I can't. Aside that, I really love this. I wore this, what, 6 times already, and it's either this or my ranunculus t-shirt. Like, I only have those 2 summer garments, and I'm rotating those 2 over and over and over again because I just, you know, it's better feeling to wear your own garments than some bought ones. What else to say about this? I will insert some pictures of me showing you the garment here, and I think that's pretty much all I want to say about this. I did a simple stretchy bind off. If you search on YouTube simple stretchy bind off, there is a video. You just knit in pattern, knit 2 stitches, and then knit through the front loop of the 2 stitches that you knit. That's how you bind off. I have to say, I blocked this and it got so small when I blocked it. Okay, at first, me and my mom, we were like, let's just throw it in the washer. It's linen and cotton, what couldn't go bad, you know? We did, and it came out. It came out and it was like this, and I couldn't get in it. I was like, maybe my gauge swatch didn't lie to me. Maybe my stitch gauge was 30, because when I swatched it was 30, but I started knitting the garment and it was 27. I was like, maybe my swatch was right. Maybe I messed up. And then my mom was like, girl, no, wet block it. She was like, calm down. I was like, okay, I'm gonna wet block it. Soaked it in some water and it got big again. So I guess this isn't really suitable for throwing in the washer, although it doesn't really change anything. But you know, you have to, like, mine is so form-fitting that I have to block it in a certain way, or flat dry, like on some mats, stretch it out. That's one thing with linen cotton blends. I don't know if 100% linen acts this way as well, but yeah, it's like right now the bind off part, because I have a tummy, and when I'm taking it off I put my arm in there. I can't do that motion because I don't know why. But yeah, while taking it off I struggle so much that this part has stretched out and it looks like it's flaring a little bit, but that's what I was gonna say. So blocking fixes that. If you have garments that stretched out to an unflattering look, you can block them and they'll go back to their own shape, basically. And that's all I wanted to talk about with this pattern. Now, my test knit that made this one wait for 1 month, I want to mention that I'm a really slow knitter. Rather than slow, I feel like I will knit for like 30 minutes, put it down, look at my phone for a little while. Like, I tend to let go of my knitting quite often. I won't sit down and like knit for 5 hours. Some people do that, and I get it. I used to be like that when I first started knitting. I would like knit all day long without breaks. But right now, I don't know what happened to me, but I just tend to let go of my knitting. So also I knit bigger sizes. Usually I'm a large or an extra large. So I think that also slows down the process a little bit. But a sweater, an extra large sweater usually takes me a month to finish. And that is to say that now I'm going to show you my basically perfect sweater by Kotowakika. And here she is. Get a little far away and show you. I have to say, like, this color brightens me up so much. I feel 100% comfortable in this garment with no makeup. It's like makeup on its own. Like, I don't know how, like, but this is like, I think I'm a true or deep winter, something like that. And this color is one of my seasonal color. How do you say that? I don't know color analysis terminology, I'm sorry. But let's get into this sweater, besides the color, which is gorgeous. So I test knitted this about 3 or 4 months ago, I think. It's been a long time. The pattern hasn't been out yet. It might be, so Kotowakika is working on a book right now. She is coming out with a book. This might be in there, I'm not sure. Or this might be something that she is waiting to release in the winter time. That also might be it, I'm not sure. But this pattern is not out yet, unfortunately, if you want to knit it. So the pattern is really beginner friendly. There are some notions, like she makes you put let me show you this way. You put markers in both here and here, so you know where to start picking up stitches later on, so you don't have to count. But yeah, it's a drop shoulder, basic drop shoulder, round neck construction. I have to say, this section looks a little squarish to me. I feel like it should have been more rounded. I will insert some footage of me wearing it so you can see what I'm talking about. So yeah, I'm a little bit, that's bothering me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I think I have OCD or something, because like, also this hole is bothering me. I have talked about this on the other episode, like I had issues with the neckline having holes, but this is the end result, which I think is nice. I think I can sew this up if I want to after this video. Oh, and I want to say, this hasn't been blocked yet. So what happened was, I finished most of this and I was on the second sleeve in the past episode. I was on the last sleeve, knitted 2 centimeters of ribbing, and I had 4 more centimeters of ribbing to go. And what did I do? Just guess. It was lying down in a basket, and I didn't touch it up until last night. I finished this for the sake of this video, so it hasn't been blocked yet. I will block it right after I finish filming. And yeah, I just had like this much more to go, and it laid there for a month. I was like, I'm not doing ribbing on a summer day. I was like, I'm gonna knit summer stuff, I don't care. But I was like, yeah, no, you gotta do it, girl. So I did it for you last night. It took me like 30 minutes or something like that to finish the sleeve. Why was I putting it off? I don't know, but your girl finished it. And I forgot about talking about the yarn. The yarn is, again, Nako. That seems to be the only brand I use because it just has most variety of yarns in Turkey. It is the #1 yarn brand in Turkey, I think. I heard that it's sold abroad as well, like in the States and in Europe. Maybe not in Europe because they're into fancier yarn in there. you know, they're into wool. This Nako's yarns has some kind of acrylic in them because they are on the affordable side. I think in USA this yarn is like $2 a ball or something like that. So this yarn is their Superlambs special. It is 50% wool, 50% acrylic. I have knitted another sweater in this yarn. That's why I used it again, because I liked it. This yarn pretty much behaves like wool. It blocks beautifully. It gets bigger and sleeves get like longer and stuff. So it behaves like pretty much like wool. I recommend this yarn a lot. I love it. And the color is just so gorgeous. I think this colorway is called Royal Blue. The number was $15.99 if you want to check it out. What else to say about this? This is a basic sweater. The test knitting experience, it was my first time test knitting for a bigger designer. I have test knitted once before, but it was just like really chill, laid back. She just sent the file, I knitted it, and then I messaged her what I thought of it. And this one used Google Docs as the communication system or way. So all the testers contacted each other in the document by commenting on stuff. And so there is one thing I don't get with this pattern. So the pattern suggests a sport weight yarn. Kika uses one fingering and 2 lace weight, and she said that comes up to about a sport weight. I had some sport weight cotton yarn lying around and I swatched with it, which I'm going to show you. This was too holy for me. Oops. You see? I don't know, it just looks uneven, holy. I mean, if this had some mohair in it, if it had some fluff, I think those gaps would be filled with the fluff. But because mohair is not really accessible to me, I was like, girl, sport weight's not gonna work. Like, I don't want a sweater looking like this. And some people commented on the document that after blocking, there's kind of turned into like a meshy looking fabric. That's why I went with a worsted weight yarn. Mine is much more denser than the sample that Kika has. I wish I could find mohair in Turkey. Believe me, I love it. There are some websites that sell old mohairs, like they have it in stock from like years ago. I buy those whenever I can find them. And those Instagram shops that I mentioned that sell cones, they also sell mohairs, which they sell pretty affordable too. I've bought from those before. I like them too. I want to say, like, you can't just like go to a website, find a local yarn shop, find a website, buy any color mohair that you want. Like, I want that luxury. I want that luxury for me. But you can't in Turkey. People don't really use it because it doesn't get that cold. Plus, it's not affordable, I personally think. That's about all of my mohair troubles, and mine is in worsted, denser. I don't think sport weight is the way to go for a sweater. I don't know, maybe you like that look, I don't know. But yeah, that is all I wanted to talk about my basically perfect sweater. Now I will move into my works in progresses. So my first work in progress, I am so sorry, it is covered in my cat's hairs. I have a white cat and I'm about to show you a black garment. I'm so sorry, but I'm gonna go in with a lint remover after I block this. But this is the Ophelia Blouse by Star-Crossed Knits. I think her name is Tamara. I'm not sure about her surname, but this is where we are at. I don't know how to show you this, but I have one more sleeve to go. That's all. Maybe I can put this on and show you. So I put it on for you to see and get the vibes. You know what I mean? It is so beautiful, so gorgeous, stunning, beautiful. The lace, I can't. I'm so glad I knitted this. It's not finished. It's still missing a sleeve, but you know, I feel like we're so close that I can just envision how much I'm gonna wear this. And so the yarn that I used is, again, I bought from an Instagram shop, from the same shop actually. This is 100% linen yarn, and this is what one strand looks like. Like, I would say this is lace, and this is how 4 strands looks like. I would say this is about like so this is a sport weight yarn. I would say they are about kind of the same. This one's a little thinner, so I would say this is like a light sport weight, I think. Tamara uses pure silk from Knitting for Olive. I think, I don't know, I wouldn't get that gauge with that yarn, to be honest. I know I couldn't hit it. I saw on Ravelry a lot of people had trouble with hitting gauge. Yeah, I don't know. I am using a light sport weight yarn. So the fabric that it creates is kind of a little sheer, but I think that has to do with linen. Linen tends to be a little like that, like breezy, breathable, you know. I mean, if you knit it tightly, it will be tight, but yeah. So the construction of this pattern is, sorry, it looks a little weird with the camisole underneath, but I'm just gonna leave it like that. So you start with the back panel. You do some short rows for shaping the back, and then you knit to the underarm area and do increases for the underarm, and then you pick up stitches here and here. You do v-neck increases and then join in the round, do some more v-neck increases, and then you do some darts, I think they're called, like 2 here and 2 in the back, and you do some decreasing for the waist shaping, and then she has you do, after you knit a little bit, after the waist shaping, you do some hip increases. Mine is cropped, so I didn't do any hip increases. Also, I was short on yarn. I think hip increases look really cool. It gives it even more of a classy vibe. Like, I really like that, but I didn't have enough yarn for it, so maybe a future version I'll knit, because I really love this pattern. This pattern comes with a lot of options. So there is additional bust increases if your bust is bigger than the size that you picked. I didn't go for that because I knitted the 7th size, which said 109 centimeters bust, which is my exact bust measurement, so I didn't do any additional increasing. And then there's a German short row bust shaping option if your shirts tend to ride up on the neck area. You can go for that. I messaged Tamara and asked what they looked like, and I will insert a picture of what that shaping looks like on here. To be honest with you, I didn't like how that looked. Also, there isn't a detailed instruction on how to do them. She has a link to her website explaining them. like how to calculate the rate of the, like how often you need to turn and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm not I'm not doing all that math. I am bad with calculating stuff. So, and I also didn't like the way that it looked, so I didn't do that either. So that is the construction. Oh, and then you basically finish the piece with the lace edging, and then I cast it off with 2 needle sizes bigger. So at first I think I bind it off regularly with 1 size bigger needle, and I wore it and it didn't fit my waist. Like, it was too small, it wasn't covering all of my body. I was like, ooh. So I undid the bind off and bound off again using 2 sizes bigger needle. So watch out for that, or use the simple stretchy bind off video that I was talking about for the square neck camisole, because that's what I did on the sleeves and it is so much better. I recommend you do the same for the body, maybe not for the neckline edging because it tends to flare out. So I knitted the lace on the sleeves with 3.5mm needles, and I bound off using 2.5mm needles because that bind off tends to flare out. So be aware of that if you want to use that bind off, but I do recommend it. And then I said I had a lot of frogging to do with this pattern. Let's get into that. So the pattern says pick up 2 out of 3 stitches for the neckline edging. I did that, and then I finished and I put it on. It was like bunching up like this, riding up on me, like scrunching the whole top. Like there wasn't enough stitches for this to lay relaxed, so it was like this. You know, I just can't explain. It's just like short in length, it just like scrunched up looking. So I needed to pick a bunch more stitches for the neckline than the pattern recommended. I think I did 5 out of 6 stitches, and then I did some decreases to get to the number that I need for the lace repeat, and then just knit the lace and then bound off again with 2mm bigger needle. But as I said, I recommend the stretchy bind off. And then I did the neckline 2 times. That was the first time I frogged this. And then the sleeve. This is the 3rd version. This is the 3rd sleeve that I knitted. And I'm gonna explain why that happened. So what happened was, I bought the Knit Pro Zing set, and I knitted the body with 3.5mm needles from that set. And then I hate doing magic loop for sleeves because I get ladders on the joint, so I just don't do them. So I just bought, this isn't the right size needle, but I'm just showing. These are sold in local yarn shops in Turkey. They're like 25-30 liras, really cheap. So I used this type of shorties rather than my Knit Pro Zing, and this gave a bigger gauge rather than the body that I knit with the Zing. I got 22.5 stitch gauge with this needle. I think it's because it's a really slippery metal needle. It gives bigger gauge. So what happened first time was that, okay, I have chubby arms, as you can tell. So I was like, I usually pick more stitches up than recommended for my size for my sleeves. So I was like, I did some math with the 24 stitch gauge, and then casted on the second biggest sizes, or picked up stitches for the second biggest sizes stitch count. 2 of my arms could fit in that. That is how big it came out. Like, my math wasn't mathing because my gauge was different with this needle. So I frogged, did my own size this time. Again, it was too big because my gauge was bigger, and I was like, I couldn't believe that I would fit a size below my own size for the sleeves, because I always have to pick up more stitches. But this is the smallest sizes stitch count, which is like 68 stitches or something like that. That's crazy. It's a little tight, but I feel like the cap sleeve is supposed to be a little form-fitting, so right now I'm happy with it. This is the third time I knitted it. That enough is enough. I'm not doing it again. But yeah, I like it a lot. So that is all about my Ophelia blouse. We had some problems with it, but I will be finishing this shortly after I film this video, probably. Yep. So let's get into the third work in progress. But first, I will take this off. I got really hot with those 2 layers on top of each other, so this feels much better. And now we are on to my last work in progress. I casted this on a few days ago at the beach. I didn't work on it too much, so I don't have that much progress, but you can see the stitch pattern. So this is the mixed rib camisole by Florence Miller. I waited for this pattern to come out. I love it so much. It looks so gorgeous. I am knitting this with, I caked it up, but this is the cotton merino from Knitting for Olive in the colorway Soft Mint. I really like this yarn, but the thing is, so the pattern recommends a 3mm needle. I'm using 2.5. I don't know, maybe as I said, for summer patterns I seem to be a looser knitter, but I feel like this is giving a little bit of a lighter fabric than the merino samples, the merino I've seen from the testers. The merino seems to be more plump. Like, this one is a little, like, you can see my hand from the back a little bit. It's a little bit see-through is what I'm trying to say. It's a little bit lighter than merino, I feel like. They're the same meterage, but I just have a feeling like this is thinner than the merino. But so the construction of this pattern is you start with the back, you knit till the armhole increases, you increase for the armhole, and then you pick up stitches here for the front. And then I think there's option for waist shaping and stuff. I'm not that far in the pattern in my progress right now, but that's what I've heard. And so at first I casted this on with my 2.5mm zinc needles, and I didn't hit gauge. I think I had 33 stitch gauge with those. I don't know, those are like, the metal is like grippier on those needles for some reason. And so I was in between sizes. The D size is 105 centimeter of bust, and the next size is 115, and I have a 109 centimeter bust. I was like, that's great, my gauge was off, I'm gonna knit the bigger size. And then I decided not to knit with this needle because the join here is really bad. I have to really like push the stitches, or like push them with my nails for them to move. So I was like, I'm gonna go for my cheap needles because they don't do that, even though they're cheaper. So I cast it on with the bigger size, because I was like, my gauge is not gonna change that much. But I hit gauge exactly with these needles. I blocked the first time that I casted this on the needles so that I could see, and this is on gauge. So I frogged that. That's why I caked this up, so that the frogged part would be the last bit that I'm gonna work, because I didn't want to start with the frogged yarn. But yeah, now I'm on gauge. It is smooth sailing, and I will update you on that because I don't have much progress right now. And my last work in progress, which I have mentioned in the last episode, that I wanted to design my own socks, which I did, and it turned out better than I imagined. Let me show you. So this is the sock that I designed. Look at this, it's so pretty. This is a 1x2, so two 1x2 cable stitches next to each other is how I can explain it the best. I don't know a lot about cables. I just found this stitch pattern and turned it into a sock. The first time I casted this on, I casted a number that I usually go for with stockinette socks, vanilla socks. But obviously this yarn, because there are purl rows, it is a little bit more scrunched up, as you can see. It bounces back to a scrunched up state, so it didn't fit over my heel. And then what I did was I put one more purl bump to every column of pearls, so I cast it on more, and that worked out. Also, the first time around I did twisted rib. I'll put a picture of that here. I did not like that. I think it's clashing with the cable a little bit, so I just did normal 1x1 rib. That fits my taste a little bit better. Some people prefer the twisted rib. So the construction of this sock is just a basic top down slip stitch heel. I'm on the gusset decreases right now. So this is how it's looking. Oh, and the yarn, again, I caked it up, but this is Alize's comfort sock or something like that. I will link it in the description. I have to say, I have put this aside on the needles that I just said doesn't work with the joint here, because I'm currently not knitting on them. I am more all about knitting summer garments right now. As I said, this is the first year I learned about summer garments, and first time I have ever knit a summer garment, which is a ranunculus t-shirt that I did. It was my first ever finished summer garment. Last summer I started the perfect t-shirt pattern on Ravelry. That is for free, but I didn't know about gauge, and it came out huge, and I frogged it when I was halfway down with the body. And that is all of my works in progresses. Now I have only one acquisition to show you, and that is for the dilemma I have with the Tulsa tank. Let me go get that yarn. So this is Nako Calico. I guess that's how you say it. It is 50% cotton, 50% acrylic. It is, where this 100 grams and 245 meters, which I think it's a true DK weight, right? I'm asking because I don't really understand yarn weights that well. I just recently started learning about them. So I swatched with this, which I will show you. I wanted to do provisional cast on so that I could determine the length of the body later on. And I swatched a whopping 35 centimeter swatch because I wanted to be sure, because I messaged Rebecca on Instagram and I was like, every time I cast this on, like it's my size exactly, but the garment is coming out so big on me. And she was like, if that is the case, you're not on gauge. I was like, that makes a lot of sense. I'm not on gauge. So I made this swatch. This is 4.5 millimeter and this is 4 millimeter. I hit gauge with 4.5, exactly 17 stitches, which is what the DK weight calls for. And then I casted my own size again. It was too big. I don't know, me and provisional cast on have beef now. I'm telling you, like, I don't know what's going on. Like, every time I cast on, my gauge is bigger. I have decided that I'm gonna give up on provisional cast on and I'm gonna swatch with long tail cast on, because gauge differs with cast on method that you do. So I might have to go up to 5 millimeters with the long tail cast on. We'll see about that. But yeah, that is the update about the Tulsa tank that I mentioned before. We're just gonna go for the old pal, the long tail, you know. I've done bottom up before. I think I can handle determining the length. I have some bottom up pieces. I can put it on it and then decide how long I need to get it according to the pieces that I have, the garments that I have. And yeah, I think that was all. Thank you for watching. I have to say, this episode I felt a little more comfortable recording myself on the camera. So thank you for sticking around if you watched till this point. I hope to see you in the next one.